I always eager to go outside because I was living in a small village in China.
For that time, I think I need to price the pros for time of my life. So I asked my boss to quit my job.
I think this crossroads really made me expand my horizontal of life.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Carl.
Hi, Carl. Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Linda.
Hello.
Hello.
Back again to my video. And today we have two guests right now. Archer from China, currently living in Tokyo, and Carl from China and currently living in New Zealand. And today our topic is about living in a crossroad. As you know, like I've seen a lot of pattern, like many of us living in the crossroad, whether like they're confused about their career, about their relationship and life purpose, and the worst, like maybe after a failure, you're afraid of starting again. And we're going to talk about restarting career and about making a U-turn around like 20 to 30 years old. It was before like it was hard to take a U-turn in a career because but now lately nowadays with the new technology, it's easier to take advancement in the education, even moving to another country to start like your career or to find a new job in another country. So let's discuss with Archer, a friend of mine who is currently living in Tokyo and was worked as a chief technology officer in a startup company in Guangzhou. And after like many years living in China, I think you've been living in the whole life, and suddenly last year you moved to Tokyo, and Carl, who have been living in China also for your whole life, right?
Yeah.
And currently just finished your master degree in New Zealand, majoring in computer graphics, is it?
It's for field design.
Okay, so field design, and then yeah. So this is a brief introduction for Archer and Carl. So first, I would like to share like how did I know both of them. Archer and Carl, three of us was working in a same company in Guangzhou. Then in like 4 years ago, is it? I think 4 years.
Yeah,
4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years ago. And currently, Archer, you're working in Tokyo, and you just passed your N2 exam.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
not just English journalist.
Okay, but after you live in Tokyo for less than a year to pass like N2 exam, if you guys don't know what like maybe N2 is the second hardest level Japanese proficiency test in Japan. So I mean, like it's quite high for you to achieve such a thing, and for Carl also to achieve your like master degree after you start working for many years after leaving the school, come back to school and start studying. Can I ask both of you, maybe like Carl first, how do you see a crossroad? Like, how do you see crossroad at first? Like, do you see it as a good thing or a bad thing?
Wow, it's a good thing and bad thing. So to me, they have two sides, of course. But if I can choose again, so I will choose this crossroad, because I think this crossroads really made me expand my horizontal of life, of experience, and that's really worth it. But also I lost a lot of things because especially for my family, I cannot say abandon them, but I lived them for a long time, and I have to live here by myself and also suffer a lot too. So there is a good thing and bad thing. It's really hard to think which one is better, but as I said before, if I can choose again, I definitely will choose this road. I think it's worth it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think. For me, I think that I think the same to the term. If you ask me, well, I'm to choose the Crossroad. Yes, of course. But just like the car side, we have the advance, and maybe we need to do something, especially for the family. Yes, of course. But for my opinion, I think maybe there have something you are considered more important than anything, such as you have got. For me, for myself, I think I have the interesting about the Japanese culture from the childhood. So I think from the high school term, I think maybe if there a chance to experience the Japanese life and experience the Japanese food, I think that will be good experience. So when a chance come to me, I choose that, and I think that is worth for me. Yeah.
I see. So overall, you all think that there is no such good thing and bad thing, but more both of you see it as more good thing, like better, more of the better thing. Even though you see there are also bad thing in every choice that we make, but also you think that it's worth it, and you already think about it to take this opportunity or to make this decision. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Okay, like what makes you, like, at start, what makes you think and what triggers you, like, back then? Because you Carl have already been working for many years, like it's been like a stable, like already good enough, like you can jump to a lot of jobs in Guangzhou or in any place in China to go to find another experience. And for Archer also, because Archer is also a CTO, which is I think back then your position in the previous company in Guangzhou is already like high. What triggers both of you? Like, did you like one day suddenly bump your head and then something come to your mind, or what is it?
I think this is not one day idea come to my brain. Actually, it's have some. I consider it to have some time. But I think the most important thing is about my self-motion. Yeah, during that time, I feel the pressure of me is a little bit big. So for that time, I think I need to press the pause button of my life. So I asked my boss to quit my job, and just as my boss said, yeah, you are just step into the term of third. Maybe you can stay here, and maybe you can take some holidays, and then think again about this action. So I think I need a holiday, or I need a gap year maybe. So this is not a good situation for the company. So I quit my job, and I want to find what I'm need to look for. During that time, maybe 3 or 4 months later, and I got a chance from Japan to invite me to move to Japan to study and to work here. So I think, that's it. It is good. That's because from my childhood, I think the Japan is. I have an interest in Japan. The China and between Japan, there are complicated history, and also the Japanese animation and the TV program have accepted by many Chinese people. So for that time, I think maybe there is good chance to finish my will So I accepted that opportunity and moved to Japan.
Okay, so it's always been on your mind that you wanted to take a pause on your previous job back then, but you thought that if you think that if you take a longer holiday, it may affect the whole company, because you are as a CTO in the company, you will affect the whole company. So you decided to quit instead.
Yeah, kind of in that term, I think maybe I want to press this postpartum, and I just do that.
Okay, but back then you know that, is it like you just want 1 day holiday, or why are you so sure that you want to take a long holiday instead of 1 or 2 days? Just go to maybe like from Guangzhou, just go to another place, 3 days holidays, and then you come back. It's like, like one-time stress, other than you want to press a long pause button.
This is hard to say how to say it, but for that time, I think I'm thinking about what I want to be. Yeah, I don't not just want to be the technology man. Do your technology coding and manage the program. I think in this world we have the more choice. So I want to change myself. I want to see if there are another opportunity which can I can seize, and to make me become more a good person. What I'm imagining about. For that time, I also used. I also learned many knowledge such as the machine learning and the program management. And for the time, you are under the Crossroad, and I think maybe I want to be a person who has the international background. So I just changed my job and accept the Japanese opportunity.
Okay, that's good. That's so good. So how about Carl? What triggers you?
So for me, as a child, I always eager to go outside because I was living in a small village in China. It's very small. So because at that time my family is so poor that I don't have time. I did not have time to go outside. So I always eager to see the outside world. So I think this is the original trigger me to move abroad or to go outside because I don't have the chance. And later, so I go to work after graduation, after graduation from the Chinese university, and I got a job. I worked more than 8 years in China, so I gain enough money to support myself. I think sometimes compared to my university's classmates, they have better chance. After graduation, they can immediately went to America to study. So that's not for me. I have to work a long time to support myself. So this chance is not easy, and I also sacrifice a lot because in New Zealand or in America, if you paid the fee as an international student, it's much expensive. It's really expensive. Right. I can even buy the house in my hometown. So I use that money not to invest in building, but invest in my studies. So I really have much courage to do that. So when I study here, so I don't know whether it's worth it or not, because sometimes when I was in China, sometimes when I was back in China, I have some the good imagination about abroad, about the foreign countries. The moon is bigger abroad. That's an old saying.
Also, the grass is greener.
There are many voices. Oh yeah. So there are many voices on the internet. You can search that. Some people say that it's good, and some people say it's bad living outside. Yes, you maybe you will get a lot of story from different peoples, but you just heard from them. Since I came here, I can understand better. Yeah, really, something is good. Unite freedom, unite respect from other people. Yes, they are friendly and more environmental friendly. And that's good if the environment is better. But also, you will miss something good in your motherland. I think this is the culture you will never forget. So, yeah. So for me, I achieved my goal because I live abroad now. So I have much different experience, and also I want my children to have a different experience or different ideas about how the world is running. Because for my parents, they are so poor. They live in a small village, so what they're talking about is very daily and basic story. So I want my children, or I want to tell my children a different story of life, or how different people will live their life. So this is different choices. Yeah,
wow,
story.
wow.
This is not stated. Yeah. So I think that's what trigger. So for my last generation, and yeah, so I would try my best to do that. Why is always falling? I find other ways to.
Yeah, I'm agree with Carl. Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, I think for Carl's case is like you always have the desire to go to see a foreign country and to live in another country to see, but you always knew what you wanted to do, and then you started saving up when you start working. So you use that money that you save up, but you already knew the purpose, like right after, like maybe like way before you came to New Zealand, right?
Yeah. So I maybe prepare for a long time. For this chance.
Wow. So I think it's not like the one time suddenly you think about coming to New Zealand. But did you always knew that what you wanted to do in New Zealand, like maybe like from you started to when you just graduate, you already know, okay, I'm going to New Zealand to take this major, to go to this school, and then I need to save this certain amount of money?
Actually, I have very specific goals to go abroad, but I'm not deciding on which country. New Zealand is one of the country. So why I chose New Zealand? Because in New Zealand, there is a company called Weta Digital. So this is I think it's the top 10 visual effects company for movies, like Avatar. Yeah, everybody know about Avatar and Lord of Ring. Yeah, they made that kind of movie. So because for my industry, for my career, I really want to achieve this goal that I can work for the most, fantastic movies in Hollywood, all over the world. So this is my dream and my goal, and I try my best to achieve that. So that's the reason why I chose New Zealand to study. Because after the master degree, I can get 3 years working visa. So I'm legally allowed to work in here for 3 years. So this is the chance I can think of. So that's why I chose New Zealand to study here.
Oh, I see. But I do you have interest? Because I observed you started to have interest in CG or computer graphic or all these effects, like maybe right after I joined the company, and then because before your job was not really related.
Yeah, related.
Always knew. Yeah, did you always knew that you wanted to study, or you wanted to know more about this computer graphic, or you just find out like maybe like after you work for certain years, you found out that, okay, this is my passion, this is what I want to do, or you just learn a lot of things and then you suddenly find out that this is what I want to do, or how is it?
I think during my studies in Chinese universities, I always learned that I want to do movie effects. But and after my graduations, the first job is for movies. So actually, I did movie for 1 year. But in Guangzhou, China, there are not many chances to do the better movies job. So I have to move to other related job like game developments or some computer graphics, etc. So I don't have much choice at that time. So that's the reason why I gained this opportunity to back to movie again. So that's my experience. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. How about like when you make this decision to go to another country such as New Zealand? But as you know, if you don't know, Carl is already married for many years, right? Yeah. So what is the role of your friend or your family or your wife during this like decision making? Like what is the role and how do you process this with your family and people who you care about?
Wow. So that's a really tough topic because for my wife, she support me. Yeah, she support me, and also she accompanied me to New Zealand. So that's really great. Because for myself, I did not have much courage to be in a new countries by myself. You know, there were a lot of uncertainty. There were a lot of things you don't know. So I really fear something like that. But my wife gave me really good support. So I really I really thankful to her.
Wow.
But for my mother, for my grandma, and they don't know much about that. They don't know much about living abroad. So I think they even have some prejudice about foreign country. They say that's not a good place to go. I think it's better to stay in China. So we have some conflicts. We have some conflicts. But my grandma really proud of my master degrees. She also support me. She also support me to encourage me to study better. So in her mind, I think study is very important because at that time, in old time China, there are not many chance for people to study. So she always encouraged me to study. So yeah. So there's really conflicts. They China, but sometimes they want me to have a better life. So you know that. So that's why I want to talk.
Yeah. But you already know, and maybe like in the end you make your decision, and then your wife was supportive, and I think that's really good that you have a wife who is supportive and to support you to go to pursue what you always dream about.
Yeah. So that's really important, especially when you how can I say when you live in a foreign country now by myself, you always want somebody's back. Yeah, you always have a home to come back to. If you did not succeed in a foreign country, so you know that you have a place to come back. So it's really, really supportive and encouragement. Yeah.
Wow, I think that's really great, and it's a blessing for you that you have a really supporting wife, and you have a home, which is I think home is also not about the house, but also a wife or somebody who support you and always have your back and to be there with you through good and bad times, through uncertain future.
Yes.
But I think I started to think about Archer because Archer is single.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Archer. But I think actually we have girlfriend there.
I want to have one, but still doesn't have.
I think
if I got
Chinese very popular in Japan.
Japanese.
Chinese very popular. Well welcomed in Japan.
Many Chinese are living in Japan, but do you mean the language very popular in Japan?
No language. Chinese people.
Chinese. When I go to the street, often I can hear the Chinese language said hello, 你好, 怎么样. Yeah, there are many Chinese.
That's good.
But for now, because the coronavirus, there are didn't have so many Chinese in Japan.
They came back to China.
No. That's because the airport, such as the flight, the airplane, didn't have so much airplane to travel to China.
But when I was in Japan, I think a lot of store has Chinese speaking you know worker.
I think the Japanese to Chinese as is okay. It's not as the internet side they hate Chinese or anyway, and the virus is come from the Europe exactly in Japan. It's not come from China. They have traced the source of the virus, where it come from, and the express side it mostly come from the Europe. Just like the American, the virus sources come from Europe. So I think the Japanese didn't have some feelings about Chinese for now.
Okay, I think back to the topic that
Yeah.
about the family. but your case is different, because I think you're going to Japan not alone, because you have friend, right? You went there with your friend together. And then how about it's like, what is the role of your friend and your family? In your case, you're not married and you're not dating anyone currently, right? And back then when you were in Japan, and what is
that a private question?
Sorry. Okay, I mean, like, because maybe like
here didn't have the private question. Okay.
Sorry.
You should know that it will be published on the internet.
No, any question we can ask.
No, I think if people know that you're single, maybe somebody interested to know more about Archer, but
yeah.
Can put a
what's that? I'm have the tag of my head, the single dog. This is my tag.
No, I mean, for your case, it's different on how you process it. For Carl's case, he had his wife to support, and he, it's nice to have somebody you can lean on and to have somebody to always have your back. How about in your case? Like, how do you process? What is the role of your family and the friend and people who you care about when you make it?
Because I'm single, so I didn't have so much pressure for myself. I can just consider myself and maybe consider my mother and father. And I think I'm lucky. My family just support my decision. And my mother thinks that I need there is a risk for me, because before I come to Japan, I didn't learn the Japanese. So how to communicate with your colleague, and how to communicate with your work. There are uncertain things. That means the risk. But I'm also didn't between the Carl, because Carl go to the university, and that means you need to expense your money, a lot of money. And for my side, I work at Japan, so I gather the salary, so I can support myself. And for the money part, I didn't have the pressure. And also, I think that is a good which for my career, because I'm also work at here for NTT, and this is a big company in Japan. This is good experience, I think, in my career. So I think there is no much pressure for me to do this choice. So I think I'm a little bit lucky man. Yeah. Lucky dog. Yeah.
Lucky dog.
Single dog and a lucky dog.
Hey, by the way, we still have 9 minutes. So if we are running out of time, maybe like after 3 minutes left, then we quit together, then we come into the same room again.
No problem.
And for Carl, how did you plan and make planning, or how do you execute your plan? And is it like you have your financial planning and you have your skill, like you have some certain schedule of what you need to prepare, like maybe like some basic skill of the computer graphic, or is it like how exactly you execute your plan?
You mean execute my plans living in New Zealand or working in New Zealand?
Living and working in New Zealand, like you started to save money, and then you started to maybe like how do you execute your plan? Like you start to find a good university, and you started to study some basics so that you can pass some certain test, or
okay.
What is it?
Yeah, because my master degree studies during 1 year, only 1 year. So I already finished my master studies. So 2 months ago, yeah, I just finished it. So now the key question is how to find a job here, because the coronavirus is really, they had a really bad impact on economy. So all over the world. So a lot of companies, they just shut down. And a lot of employees, they just laid off. So I have to be patient to wait. So during these 2 months, I just stay at home, because New Zealand had locked down for 1.5 months. So we are not allowed to go outside, except you have some urgent to do. So for me, I don't know in the future yet, because I cannot see a bright future. But I got a plan to stay here for 2 months. If 2 months later, I cannot even find a job, I have to go back to China. So that's another option for me. Yeah, because now I have to spend a lot of money, because I have to rent a house, share a house with my landlord, and I have to buy a food. Yeah, so that's cost of money too. But the good thing is I already prepare 1 year of financial to my living. So I can live here. I can live here, but I will give me 2 months plan. Yeah.
Wow. So you already prepare your like so-called emergency fund, or so-called like prepared money for 1 year. Even now, you already have a plan that you will stay for 2 months in New Zealand. But I think
Yeah.
I think that's true, that nobody knows what the future might be about this coronavirus.
At that time, yeah.
It's like a surprise for everybody also. How about Archer? Like how do you execute your plan? Like did you find like some certain countries that you wanted to go, or like how did you make your choice, and how did you as like you start to find determine which country you want to go in, and you start learning Japanese, and you start applying for Japanese or Japanese company, or how did you execute and make planning, like saving money and financial plan and everything?
In Japan, exactly, I have applied several companies. Yeah, with my poor Japanese, but unfortunately, they have passed me. And for me, I think where I'm living is not a very important thing. I think I'm more focused on the career. Is this a good opportunity for my future? If it's yes, and maybe I will choose it. But also I need to management over the schedule. Everybody, no matter everybody, shouldn't change their job too frequently, especially in Japan, because your employee maybe want their staff didn't change their job frequently in Japan. So I need to choose what I need what I want to do. And if you choose this opportunity, maybe you should insist it for 4 or 10 years. yeah, this is pretty long time. For now, I think the financial is still okay. Yes, because the coronavirus we are separated in home and stay at home. There didn't have much cost for myself. And for the future, and I'm also look for some opportunities. I'm just several weeks ago, I applied the game company, which make the final
Fantasy.
yeah.
Square Enix,
And
is it?
yeah. So I'm also looking for another opportunities for the have the similar experience with my in Guangzhou. That's because I think this experience is very good for me, and I think I have the interest in about that work. So for now, I'm still looking for that. And if there have the good opportunities, I will get it. Maybe it's from China. Yeah, this is also okay, I think. But also the salaries must be higher.